All right, Claire Crawford, theozone.net. Please join her there and her podcast with Joe Dexter. Oh, hail no, each and every week, talking Buckeyes through and through. All right, JT Barrett, much criticism there. He is the all-time touchdown record holder in the Big Ten over a guy that we see on Sundays still here 17, 18 years later, and we will see one day inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame on the first ballot, Drew Brees. Still, he's much criticized, and I'm not making a parallel between accomplishments and compiling stats and effective play, because JT Barrett has obviously had his issues. We don't know a whole lot about what JT felt or thought about the Oklahoma experience because he wasn't allowed to talk to anybody, Claire.
That was definitely interesting this week, and Urban Meyer talks about how mentally tough JT is and how he's such a leader of this team, when there are signs, if you're paying close enough attention, that Urban is definitely protecting JT to a certain point from the onslaught of pressure. And Urban is a great coach. Urban is a great leader. Urban is almost like a father figure to some of these guys. And you've seen Urban have ongoing relationships with a lot of his players, Tim Tebow specifically, because they develop these great relationships. And obviously Urban has to have a lot of trust in JT. However, JT not being able to speak to the media this week, to me personally, gave me a sign that JT definitely wasn't as mentally ready to take that onslaught as maybe he should be. Maybe JT was and Urban didn't think he was, or just didn't want to test that theory. But the outcome of that is that, in my opinion, we saw JT more comfortable getting flushed out of the pocket or making better decisions in the run-pass option, making better reads. We still didn't see him throw downfield like we thought he should. There were a couple big overthrows, but in general, and to his defense, he didn't take but maybe just a handful of shots, and literally maybe 5 or 6 shots downfield, but had the opportunity to do so and didn't quite get there. It wasn't a huge part of the offensive scheme, obviously, if they're not taking the shots, but it's those type of plays are going to get him some more confidence. And I think if anything that the Buckeyes can hang their hat on this week, it is just building confidence. And that's one thing that we can't measure going forward as fans. We can't really say, oh, they definitely are more confident, because that's between the coaches and the receivers and the quarterbacks. But it is something that they will have a measurable outcome of when we start seeing more connections.
So to take it from a football standpoint, I know that we're speaking to a lot of people out there that watch Ohio State football and just soak in nothing but Ohio State football all the time. Watch some other college football games. Even the best quarterbacks in the nation miss on throws. JT went 25 for 33 in this game. I don't remember any specific dropped passes, so let's say he went a legitimate 25 for 33. I also don't remember any guys just laying out, making incredible catches off the top of my head. So he basically went 25 for 33 in this game. Yeah, he missed on some throws. I'm just trying to point out that if you watch college football across the country, Sam Darnold in particular, who myself and others think is the best quarterback in the nation, he missed throws last night against Texas. So nobody's perfect out there. So if you're concentrated on just watching Ohio State football and nitpicking every little thing, you're going to find some flaws in this team. Obviously, we've already seen them against Oklahoma, but there are no perfect teams out there. They all have flaws and issues. From the standpoint of JT speaking to the media, the only thing that troubles me, and I'll not take this to an extreme because Urban Meyer knows his program, he knows his player, and he knows how JT needs to be handled. If JT was, let's say, back in 2014 as a redshirt freshman, and this was post-Virginia Tech, or if anything else would have happened like this, and Urban Meyer was trying to protect him and bring him along, and he was already being subjected to criticism that he could see through social media and television, radio, etc., I could see that more so than this being 4 years into his career as a redshirt freshman or a redshirt senior. And hopefully for him, I think some people will laugh when I make this statement that maybe he has intention to go to the National Football League. Just that I would hope that Urban Meyer, and again, I'm not inside the relationship to know exactly what the dynamics there are. But just being an outsider, that maybe the better tact would be, not knowing all the facts, would be to have coached him through the process of answering to the media this week as a redshirt senior, somebody who's dealt with the media for years and dealt with a level of criticism. It's not going to be nearly as much as it would be following a loss like they suffered to Oklahoma. But rather than hiding him, maybe the better tact would have been to coach JT through the process.
You and I are both parents. From a parenting standpoint, that sometimes you have to let your kids go out there and experience things. And JT Barrett will have to answer to the media. If he wants to go to the next level, he's going to have to take a barrage of questions that he might not like. And this is an Ohio State press conference. This is Ohio State reporters asking him questions. This isn't, just general, the general public or the trolls on social media. These are friendly reporters that have really softball questions that they're going to be asking. And that's not any take back from the reporters. That's just everyone is really respectful. And I don't think anyone was going to be grilling JT. And again, we're not there. But even from a psychology standpoint, I think it would have been better for him to go through that fire, answer those questions, come out as confident, and then move on. But like we said, knowing the outcome now of the game and knowing that he looked more confident, he looked better, maybe Urban's decision was the right one.
There were a couple passes that JT threw that I was glad just to see him just kind of let her rip and let it go. They weren't long throws, but medium range throws that over the last few years we've come accustomed to seeing him just kind of like push out there and just, I'll try to get it to the guy, versus him just cutting loose and just he let her rip. He doesn't have a cannon, but he let it go about as well as he does, and he threw the ball with confidence.
He absolutely did. It does worry me a little bit on these bubble screens and these swing passes when there's not enough zip on it. And again, it's just, from my standpoint, it just looks like it's floating out there forever. And it might just be me completely worried. But there were a couple times that they were lucky to get away with that. And I was like, oh, is this Army, or is this really, did he put enough on the ball? So I agree. It's something that they can work towards, build confidence, and obviously that stretches the field.